my name is Colleen. I'm here with Rock Fervor, and we are interviewing the family rune today. Maybe to start off, the 3 things you must have with you while on the road to survive.
Whoa, good question. You need water.
Water is a big one.
Yeah, water, whiskey, and toilet roll, I think.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, I don't know, because I change it every time. I maybe go for some like
toothpaste.
Oh, toothpaste is a great one, but the whiskey can double.
Yeah, true.
The pot noodle things, what are they called? The ramen.
Ramen, yeah.
We don't always get time to eat when we want to eat, so sometimes you need to throw something in real quick and eat just before you go on stage. So ramen noodles is pretty good.
Toothpaste, yeah.
You could eat toothpaste. So you can mix these 3 up any which way you like it, but I would say something along the lines of water, because you need water for the ramen. Ramen, because you need the ramen to go with the water, and whiskey.
Yeah, that's the 3.
You can brush your teeth with the whiskey.
That's all you need while you're on tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then how has the tour been going so far with Chelsea Grin? I know you were pretty recently. You were in this area, maybe Hartford, kind of closer with the Asking tour.
Yeah, we were. I think we played at a place called the Webster on the tour with Asking at the end of last year. This tour's going great. I mean, this is the first time, I think, one of the first nights we've done a city that we've played previously in America. So the couple of shows before this have been brand new towns for us. But yeah, it's all been going great. I mean, it's a lot of fun because we're on this big old hockey bus and we're sharing it with Chelsea Grin. There's a load of bunks, there's a load of sofas that turn into bunks, so it's pretty wild on here. But I think we're all a little tired, but we're having a great time. Yeah, again, it's like, it seems every tour we do becomes my new favourite tour, so it's hard to judge which is which, you know. But yeah, it's going good. Crowd's good. We're having a little bit of a little of a struggle now and again because we're
on a death metal tour.
We're on a death metal tour, and we're like the furthest from death metal as a metal band could be. But I think we're converting a few people, and the people that didn't like us in the first place, we're just confirming it for them, so that's cool.
Tonight was good because a lot of people had seen us before have come back. And obviously enjoyed it again. And I saw it's the first time on this tour I've seen people with actually Family Ruin t-shirts already before we've
singing along and
stuff
like that,
which is good.
And we're travelling with a guy named Jesus who's over there, and if you want to include him in this, there he is. So he keeps us safe the whole time.
Yeah, he's doing his magic.
Sometimes you have to, you gotta look after the boys.
Yep, true that.
And Daily Departed came out in September. How do you think it's been going over so far, considering you have been touring here and maybe back at home as well?
It's great. We've sold 5 copies. We thought we were originally just going to sell 3.
That's great.
But we've done 5 whole full-length album copies of it.
Yeah.
It's going pretty well, yeah. It's going good, I suppose, because we came, like, when we released Daily Departed, we were literally not even on the radar back in England, let alone over here. So it was a push from square one. The start of our PR started when the album came out, so it was kind of almost a shame to release it on the back of nothing. We kind of started touring afterwards. We were due to release it at the same time as we did a tour with Crown the Empire over here in September, but we had problems with our visas and we couldn't get out. So but it's been good, and it's really been picking up. We'll probably at some point do like a re-release or something like that to give it a bit more oomph, you know. We're going to be touring this album for a while, but yeah, sales are good for the album, and a lot of positive feedback. I don't think we've heard anything bad as yet from it, so it's good.
That's great. Yeah.
We put a lot of work into it, so I'm glad it's coming out.
Years of work.
Years of work. Well, speaking of years of work, how did you go about the writing for this record? Was it one person? Was it more collective? Were they all older songs, or did you kind of start fresh with this album?
Well, it's a mixture, let's be honest.
Kind of depends. Do you want to?
Well, I'll start by saying the songs on this album are a mixture of brand new songs when we started recording the album and old songs that have been in the band since before me. So it's kind of like a complete... Yeah, soak this in.
Oh yeah, just one.
One, yeah, but I mean, there's a couple of other riffs and stuff that are from...
Yeah, true, we pulled out some...
there's a lot of old stuff on there, and it's kind of been a mixture. Like, people will come with riffs and say, we'll do this, and it'll be recorded exactly how it was planned originally, and other songs kind of were put together as we were recording the actual album itself. So
basically the story behind the timeline is we had an EP written. We'd written like a 6-track EP, and just after we'd done that, Ben Bruce from KBB Records heard it, and he decided to sign us up. And he signed us up. I think initially the idea was probably just to do an EP, I think. And then a couple of months into sort of the talkings and proceedings of getting to sign and getting together, they said they wanted us to do a full-length album, and it was going to be 12 tracks, and we needed to write 16 tracks, I think. 16 tracks of which to choose from, and we had a couple of months in which to do that. So we had 6 or 7 tracks, and we had to write another 8 songs, which is not normally like what... I wouldn't say we're a lazy band, but we're just a slowly productive band, so we kind of... that was a quick turnaround for us, but to be honest... I think the songs that we pushed out in the end, know what we wanted to do, are some of the actual better songs on the
Yeah.
album. So
Oh,
it was
story.
good for us to work in that environment.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then speaking of KBB, obviously you're in a unique situation where people that are running your label know exactly what it's like to
True.
be on the road. And speaking of just, I have interviewed Ben several times, including on your last run,
Yeah.
during the run. But obviously you're in a unique situation. You don't have people that don't know what it's actually like.
True.
So maybe how did that signing come about? Maybe how did the signing come about, and how is that experience?
The signing came about through a lot of history, really, through a lot
Yeah.
of local related history. Back in where we're from in York, in England, some of the Asking Alexandria guys are from around that area, and some of the guys that were producing our EP, then into the album, are from that area as well. Ben Bruce had come back across to England, do some stuff, and he was producing some of his solo album with the guys that work with us. And I think there was talk about him starting up some management, starting up a label or
It was going to
something.
be promotion originally, I believe.
Yeah, it was going to be a management or something before it became KBB. And the guys that were producing us at the time were also from another local band called With One Last Breath, and we'd played with them for years, and they just put us forward basically and said, hey Ben, if you're doing that, you should check out this EP we've just recorded because it's badass.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. It's true, but okay. And yeah, so they showed it to Ben, and Ben was like, fuck, you know, we like the tunes, and we've known these guys for a few years, because obviously since the last time Ben had really seen us, they've achieved so much.
Of course.
And he saw that
5 or
we were
6
still
years.
working on the same.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We were still working as hard, but getting nowhere really, because we didn't have the right connections. So he kind of saw us as someone he could take under his wing, and we went from there. So it's kind of right time, right place, but
Literally.
a little bit of history, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it had been like 5 or 6 years, like since the last time he had seen you play, and then the EP came across. Yeah.
Maybe three or four.
Yeah.
3 or 4. I mean, because we played I think the first ever UK Asking show they did when
they came back.
they came back from America. So they came to America for a few years, and they came back, and they were still fairly small. They played like our 150 cap, 200 cap room in York, and they'd flown over with electric guitars, so they had no gear or anything like that. And we lent them all the backline, and you know.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that was the last time before getting signed that I think we saw them, because after that they just exploded. So that was probably
4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, 4, maybe 5 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then, while you said you have been a band for a while, and you've been obviously playing in the UK, but coming to the US is still very, very new. I think it's maybe about less than a year.
We came over in November.
Mid-November.
November, so even less than a
like
year.
3.5 months.
That must be insane for you to, already even be playing these so multiple tours. But what was like the biggest difference for you? I know obviously the UK is a much smaller country to tour. Is that the biggest difference?
That is the biggest difference.
probably
That's the
it,
biggest
because,
difference,
Like,
yeah.
you can drive from the top end of England down to the bottom and not even meet some of these drives in lengthwise. We do drives between shows that can average like 12 hours drive. It's insane. Whereas in England, you can't really drive 12 hours.
Unless you went from one side and back again.
Yeah, well, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I mean,
exactly.
we done a couple of shows when we were on the Asking tour, for example. We did a couple of shows in Canada, and we had to drop back into the States and back into Canada. And I think it was like a 28-hour drive altogether. So that's not possible in England.
No,
Like,
you
you can't do that.
Yeah.
no. People complain about driving from York to Leeds, and it's 25 miles. It takes you 30 minutes.
People complain about it every day. Yeah.
I
That's
complain
ridiculous.
about it.
You complain
Every
about
day.
I used to complain
I used
about
to.
it, but now when I get back to England, I'm probably just going to walk from York to Leeds.
Just jump.
But, oh god,
Just jump it, dude.
Yeah, I mean that, and obviously there's the other differences like the crowd. I think we're lucky because we're British.
Yeah.
We get a lot of support from American fans, and whereas in Britain, if you're not so well known, it's harder to win them over. It's the same for American bands. When they go to England as an unknown but American band, they
People
get
still
more,
love
they
it.
get more of a chance from the English crowd.
Yeah.
Whereas at home, I'm sure they probably have a bit of a hard time. So yeah, we're having a great time over here. Everyone's well receptive of us, and KBB are looking after us, and we're having a good time.
Absolutely.
It just looks like we're going to be touring for all of eternity.
Yeah, I think so.
That's a good thing, though.
I mean, I haven't been home since the Asking tour, which we came over for in November. So I ain't seen my mum, I ain't seen my cats, I ain't seen my sister.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Keeping you busy.
We've been on
Yep.
the road for 3.5 months, basically.
Yep. And there's more months to come.
And there's a lot more months to come,
A lot more
yeah.
months to come. Well, then maybe a softer one. The first CD or first cassette you ever bought as a kid, and then the first concert you ever remember going to.
I like the way that was kind of polite. It was like the first CD or cassette, because you look a bit old.
Because you're a bit old.
We are edging on a little bit old, I'll be honest. I think mine
I
might have
ask
been a cassette.
everyone. Come on,
Do you know what?
cassette is good. Cassette is a good thing.
I think my
I know what
actual
mine was.
first purchase ever was a cassette of... Shall I say this?
Yeah, go for it.
I think it was the Power Rangers theme song on cassette.
Mine was I Like to Move It single.
But there we go, you see, both equally embarrassing, yeah. But I mean, if we're going to talk about metal and stuff, I guess the first album I actually bought, the first two, I bought them in one foul swoop, was Rage Against the Machine, and Korn.
Mine was Rage Against the Machine, and Demanufacture by Fear Factory.
Boom, there you go. Yeah.
And the first show we went to? What you ever went to?
Shit. What? Well, the first show,
That lingers on your brain.
Yeah, the first and only show that lingers in my brain as much as every other show was a local band called Tung.
Yeah.
T-U-N-G, and I went down to their show, and this was back... Oh, God,
I'll join you on that.
This was... You saying?
Yeah, definitely that band.
They were like a local band, but they'd been on tour with like Bloodhound Gang and a few other people. But yeah, God, I went to see them whenever they were back in York, and they were awesome. And then years later, it turned out they formed another band, and they were really helpful to us and helped us get started. The band's called RSJ now. People should check them out. Definitely.
RSJ.
Yeah, they're different to Tongue. They're very heavy, but I think a lot of people will dig RSJ big time.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, big time. And they're top guys. But yeah, the first time I saw them, that was kind of like when I really decided I wanted to do live music myself. You know, it was inspirational.
I would agree.
You just answered my next question.
Oh.
What's your inspiration?
Yeah, no, not your inspiration, but do you think those first musical experiences influence you as a person? Like maybe
without
seeing them
doubt.
play? Yeah, no.
Because I was never really a person that, I mean, are you hugging me or are you getting your whiskey?
I just can't.
I hope he's grabbing his whiskey. But yeah, I was one of those guys that, like, you know, when in school, and it's like, right, this is the call list for the play this year, the school play or whatever. I used to, like, dread the idea of doing that, you know? That would be my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
So performing on stage, I would never have thought about doing it. And then as soon as, like, I listened to some heavy music, I was like, I really like this, I wonder if I could. And then when I saw that first live show, I was like, shit, I have to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird because, like, I will still get mega stage fright if I have to just, like, speak in front of people or pretend to act. Like when we do music videos, I suck at that.
Yeah.
But like live shows, I'm alright with.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was definitely inspirational for me. It got me fired up and made me want to try and start a band. So yeah, big time.
And then, you know, you kind of already talked about how KBB has you pretty much on the road for like the next 2 months. You're going to be steadily touring. It's coming up. But what is that just like the plan, or do you think you're even going to start looking about writing for the next album?
We've already started.
You've already started writing for the next album, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to be touring this album for a while now. We're going to be probably touring it for the next year and a half, possibly 2 years before the next album actually comes out. But we're starting writing already because, like I said to you before, we're a slowly productive band. You know, and to be honest, I think we're going to be so busy, we're not really going to have time to properly sit down and write a whole album in one go. And I don't like to do that anyway. I don't think any of us like to do it in one whole sitting. So we've got 2 tracks down already that we're toying with. You know, they're pretty good. 3 tracks, in fact. One vocalist. But yeah, we've kind of already started on the writing process for the next album, and I think
slowly happen.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to slowly progress over the next, whenever we've got downtime in the next sort of year.
The thing is about touring, the more bands you play with, the more inspiration you get. Like literally every tour we've done, we've done a few mixed tours now. So
taking bits.
Yeah, we did the tour with Askin and stuff, and we drew influence from that. We toured with Mushroom Head, we were a completely different kind of genre, and we drew big influence from that. Escape the Fate influence from that, and then again, this is a really heavy tour, but we're still drawing influence from it. So I think by the time we end up finishing this tour cycle, however long it is going to be, and getting into the studio to put the final things down,
it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, it's probably going to sound a little bit different to the first album, but
with the same sort of vibe.
Yeah, the same sort of vibe, but it's good because we're constantly learning, constantly evolving, and looking forward to writing. I'm excited about writing again, which is great.
Yeah.
So.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, guys, for taking the time.
I want to say thank you to these guys because I messed them about all day today. So thank you for hanging it out and fitting it in later on.
Fitting it later on. This is the Family Reunion, and check out Rock Fervor for more videos soon.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Let's go, honey, one last time. One more.